What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I'm here today to do a new installment of my Monolithic Pulse series. This is a series in which I dedicate time to talking about bands and artists from within different spectrums of extreme music. Not really necessarily metal, but some other stuff alongside that. The first one happened to get a really solid response, and I'm really appreciative of that. But this time around, I wanted to scale things back just a little bit and talk about just a few artists in comparison to just a very big handful. And I have two very unique releases within different spectrums of extreme music to talk to you about here in this video. The first band I'm going to be talking to you about is the band Muscle and Marrow, and their new album entitled Love, released through the Flenser. These guys are based out of Portland, Oregon. They are a duo, Kira Clark and Keith McGraw, respectively. My first introduction to them was seeing them briefly last year at the Housecore Horror Film Festival. They were currently in the midst of touring with Author and Punisher. And I can totally see why a band like that would get picked to tour with Author and Punisher, because they have a sound and style that's very transcending of what extreme music is about. They have that almost doom metalish sort of structuring, but there's so much more to it than that. They have an almost electronic, artsy, pop-like sort of feeling to them, but yet they make it work. They make it work so well, and it sounds so nice. Going back to their 2014 debut, The Human Cry, you can hear all of those instances very well, from the riffs, to the drumming, to the singing, to the harsh vocals. It was just a very incredible package. But here with this brand new offering entitled Love, they expand on what they had on the first release, and they go a little bit further than that. Excuse me. The name of the album is called Love, and pretty much through the 7 songs that are on the album, they expand on that feeling and emotion, and they do so with a subtlety of heaviness. And I really enjoy what they do here with this release. It's a relatively short album for being only 7 songs, but when you listen to it, treasure the time you have and opportunities you get to spend with it, because you're in for some seriously impressive stuff going on here. Listening to songs like Black Hole and Womb, you really get the gist of what a band like Muscle and Marrow is all about. Being heavy for just 2 individuals, it's just really incredible. The riff work, the drum pace, it's a very good paced record. It's moderate to mid-paced, but yet you can appreciate the sense of what's being done here with the pace of this record. The vocals are really incredible. I love Kira's vocal range, very good singing. The aggressiveness in her vocals begins to show in bits and spurts throughout this entire release, but yet it's done very tastefully, and I love how she handles her business on this record, especially with later tracks like Sacks of Teeth and Light. Just some seriously incredible vocal performances going on here. But the music itself is just wonderful. I love the guitar playing, I love the drum styles, I love the subtle electronic elements being brought forth here and there. It works out very well for a band like this. Seriously a big step up from The Human Cry, and I hope that more people get in the habit of checking out a band like Muscle and Marrow. I really think this is a project worth paying attention to, so go check out their album Love through the Flenser. I believe you can get it on CD and vinyl currently. And the last artist I'm going to be talking to you about is a project that is extremely popular in electronic music, synthwave, and pretty much a band that has stolen the hearts of everyone across the world. And I, of course, am talking about PERTURBATOR. PERTURBATOR is a one-man project based out of Paris, France, by a guy by the name of James Kent. This project has had some very humble sort of beginnings in its initial stages. Pretty much him getting involved in extreme metal in bits and pieces, but once that didn't really pan through, he threw himself into a more noir-esque sort of electronic music thing, and that electronic music thing being PERTURBATOR. And he put out some really incredible full-length albums in 2012 with Terror 404 and I Am the Night. Both very awesome releases in their own right, because the style of music that PERTURBATOR brings to synthwave is just really incredible. Very much inspired by classic 70s and 80s movies, the futuristic kind of movies. You can hear it in this project's music all the way throughout. But once his music was included in a video game called Hotline Miami, he really got shot into the stratosphere very quickly. And that being said, we got an album in 2014 called Dangerous Days, which I really believe was the start of Perturbator getting nationally known, utilized, and respected. And Dangerous Days, I think, was a continuation of what he brought forward with those first two previous records. Even his EPs that he put out throughout the years were really awesome to listen to as well, like Night Driving Avenger, Nocturne City, and even the Sexualizer EP from 2013. Seriously incredible and diverse sort of music for being synthwave. He really makes it all his own, and you can definitely tell what the classic Perturbator sound is all about and like. And I think it's really amazing. And now here in 2016 we have the fourth album from Perturbator entitled The Uncanny Valley, released through Blood Music. Like any previous Perturbator release, this is pretty much going to seem like an experience. Not just you listening to a synthwave album, you are really going to be on a journey, because this is a pretty lengthy album at around almost 70 minutes in length. But this is really gripping stuff. And I think with The Uncanny Valley, he continues to get better and better with time as he continues to find his true sort of identity and sound. And you hear it amongst the opening notes of Neo Tokyo, and then going on to songs like Venger, Disco Inferno, and even She Moves Like a Knife. You really get that this is a more aggressive, stronger, and more angrier sort of Perturbator sound. And I really think with The Uncanny Valley, you get some really incredible music here. I love the sounds, I love the atmosphere, I love the vibes. It just really feels like genuine electronic music being done. And of course, the subtle hints of extreme music get thrown up in here very, very well. Even the songs that have guest appearances, because as per usual with a Perturbator release, you'll get some songs that have some guest appearances thrown on in there. Tracks like, once again going back to songs like Venger and Sentient, even Diabolus Ex Machina. Just some really great vocals being done on those songs, additional instances of electronic work being done. But of course, the thing that shines the most throughout this entire release is Perturbator himself. The way he puts his work into the music, into the soundscapes, into the vibes, it just works out so well. And I think that The Uncanny Valley really could be a near masterpiece from what Perturbator has done throughout his existence. And I, of course, am looking forward to seeing how in the future he continues to expand and evolve with his style of synthwave and dark music. I mean, honestly, when you think of cyberpunk or synthwave or anything like that, Perturbator is going to be one of the very first bands that come to mind. I totally understand and get why this project is so popular and so well liked and respected. I believe the hype, and if you think you want to believe the hype too, I would highly recommend getting into The Uncanny Valley. Pretty much anything from Perturbator is worth paying attention to and checking out, and I think The Uncanny Valley is something very much worth listening to and checking out and even owning. Like I said, this is released through Blood Music. You can get it currently on CD and LP. I believe Dark Descent and I don't know what other US distros happen to carry it, but I know Dark Descent is one of the places you can get Perturbator music in the United States. You want to order it through Blood Music or through the Bandcamp page, you can do that. So yeah, I'm going to leave you links in the description box to both of the albums that I talked about in this video, Muscle and Marrow's Love and Perturbator's The Uncanny Valley. If you want to listen to them, stream them, buy them digitally, buy them physically, the choice is up to you. These are both very incredible art bands and artists, and very much worth paying attention to. So yeah, if you happen to have heard either of these bands or either of these releases, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to conclude this video. Thanks a lot for watching, thanks for checking out my channel, and until next time, Army Help out.